Well, hi folks, welcome back. The weather recently has been apocalyptic and we're quite lucky in that today we've actually got a bit of sun. There's a few bits of blue sky. But every evening I have been making time. I'd like to say finding time, but I have had to be making time to come up because the clocks have gone back. So there is almost no time after work now. I've had to start working the early shift at work. So I start at 7 and that normally gives me just a little bit of time to come up around 4 o'clock. And like I say, recently the weather has been apocalyptic. I was in here the other day digging through this foundation that you saw last episode, hopefully, the new greenhouse foundation, in a full-on storm. It felt so atmospheric. There was thunder and lightning and just everything. But today I'm taking a little bit of a break from that quite satisfying but quite monotonous task to do a few other things. I have made quite a lot of really good progress on this greenhouse foundation, but it is a bit of a state. You can see, oh my god, I'm caught on stuff. I always trip over stuff when I start recording. You can see there is a layer of bricks around the outside and a nice little stack over here. And what my plan is to, if you missed last episode, to get these kind of trenches filled with stones that I can kind of pack down and then put the bricks on as a kind of base layer that will let water drain through, and then put the sleepers on top of those. And I should have a few leftover bricks. I was so happy. Found these on Facebook Marketplace, literally just perfect timing. Looked and they were right there. And I'm hoping I can kind of do a bit of an edged bed or something, because the plan with this, like I've said, is to have this kind of as dug ground. And you can see even in the middle, in fact, especially in the middle, it is just full of stones that I have to go through and collect by hand. It's pretty bleak, but like I say, I'm going to focus on something a bit different today. Keep falling over stuff. The whole allotment is a mess at the moment. It really does feel like a building site. But I'm going to be focusing on some really late harvest. There's a few obvious things that I want to pick up, like some of the turnips I showed you recently and the squashes as well. But also something you haven't seen in quite a long time is this cabbage patch. And there's all sorts going on in here. So I want to get in there and do a few little bits. And there might be one or two things we can get from the greenhouse as well. There are loads and loads of peppers that are ready to harvest, but whilst they're still on the plants and they're not going all soft and horrible, I'm just going to leave them. I'm going to do one really big harvest, and these piri-piri plants are still, they're full of not only peppers, but also now they've got flowers, and not just one or two, they are loaded, absolutely loads of flowers. So yes, I'm going to, oh, look at this. Look at this. Oh, this is shoddy, isn't it? Can you see that? Bindweed that has managed to crawl all the way up my peppers. I'm really, really excited to getting in here and giving it a proper clear out. But there are as well one or two full-sized tomatoes. So what I'm going to do is go around harvesting a few bits and bobs, show you what I've got, and then we'll look in the cabbage patch. Look, there's one up here as well. Lovely, absolutely lovely. I have got some tomatoes, so I'm just going to get some of these butternut squash. And something to mention that happened this week, I've got some very sad leeks. Although they have survived, they are bouncing back, but during the storm there was a pallet that was sat on the manure, and it was a soaking wet wooden pallet, and it got picked up by the wind and just dumped right here. I think I've got a little clip from my phone. Somehow it's managed to pick up a bloody pallet that was on there. Landed right on my leeks. Mother trucker. But fortunately all these leeks are looking okay. A little bit worse for wear, but hopefully they'll bounce back. But I was very glad that I wasn't halfway through kind of glazing or constructing the greenhouse or anything like that, because I think that would have been quite upsetting. Oh, look at that. You can't beat a squash. And I should say as well, thank you to all the subscribers who let me know these were safe to harvest. I wasn't quite sure. And those stems are quite tough, but these are really starting, it's a tiny little snail. These are starting to really change colour now and darken up. I think they're ready. Now, I've never harvested a turnip before in my life, but once again, the subscribers reliably informed me that these are looking like a good size to take. Look at that little golf ball size thing. It's quite attractive actually, isn't it? Not the biggest fan of turnips, but oh, that smells incredible. Really nice, fresh smell. So I'm hoping there's a few of these I can find. Maybe a little small, that one, but good to thin them out. That's still decent, isn't it? I don't know, let me know. Well, you know what, I'll tell you what. I thought once I got in here there'd be a bit more than just 2 to harvest. But we'll continue to leave these. Hopefully, despite them being planted so close together, they'll do something nice. Whoops. Oh dear. It's all learning, isn't it? So, from one little mistake with those turnips to another, and the entire brassica bed this year could pretty much be described as a mistake, and I've been kind of writing it off, to be honest. I had a lot of caterpillar damage because they got in, all the butterflies got in through this netting. The broccoli that I planted has now all gone to seed. You can see it's in flower. It's quite pretty actually, but obviously that's not what it's meant to look like. And I've left that because it doesn't taste good. It's an F1 variety that I just have not enjoyed. And you can see all these cabbages, I mean, they're still alive, but they're not doing what they're meant to. And so I've kind of written it off, as well as if there wasn't enough. These Romanesco cauliflower, what is that? Look at this. You know, what is going on there? It looks more like a broccoli. It's like gone to kind of seed, I guess. I don't know. So yeah, all of that. I've got one purple sprouting broccoli that's doing well. Look at this. But generally, as I say, I've written it off. And around this side, you can see we've got more sadness. Dead cabbage. But you should be able to see already, look at this. I've got a cabbage. I've got a proper cabbage. And I'm really unsure whether to take that today. Like, you know, before it gets completely eaten by everything. Will it bounce back? And there's one here just next door as well, which is looking okay. This one I thought was 100% dead, and I actually managed to bring it back. It was full of caterpillars and all sorts of horrible stuff. That's the smallest cabbage on YouTube. Look at that. The weeds are bigger than the cabbage. And round the other side, there are actually 1 or 2 cabbages as well. I mean, all these ones, they are alive. They might come back, they might do something, but this one has actually done something good. And there's one here that, you know, it might. And around here, look, that one is ready for taking. I might take that one because that one really does look like it's kind of done. So at least we can have one. And look, I know it's not much. I know there's many people on YouTube that have, you know, actual brassica patches full of cabbages, but it's all about finding the happiness in the little things. And to have kind of written this off and then gone, wait a minute, there is something in there. That is just glorious to me, especially when everything else on the plot at the moment is just a bit grueling. I am enjoying this, but you know, it's not particularly fun. Now, I think this is probably a bit of a silly idea, but you might have seen in the greenhouse, I've got this this tiny little tray of cabbage seedlings, and these are an overwintering cabbage. I can't remember exactly which one, but they're an overwintering cabbage. I think I planted these in September, and I thought maybe they could go out. I was expecting them to be a bit bigger, and the weather's turned now, so you know they're going to be up against it. It's a real Hail Mary. But what I'm going to do is it started chucking it down just now, so I had to stop filming. But I've just taken out a load of the broccoli, made up some space in this little brassica bed. The sad brassicas, and I'm just going to stick them in, see what happens, eh? And sure enough, a few moments later, we've got some seedlings out. It's really nice to have done this actually. It's been so long. Well, it feels like it's been so long since I actually planted something in the ground. There's 5 little modules in here, and they've all got a couple of cabbage plants in. So, I mean, their chances of survival are pretty much 0, aren't they? But it's worth having a little bit of hope. You never know. You know, it's a little bit of a roll of the dice. and you just never know what you're going to get. But I am very happy because I'm going home with something that isn't just aches and pains. And here it is, a little November harvest. It's not amazing, 2 turnips, but this cabbage has come up quite good. I'm really pleased with this. Oh, it's all wet from the rain. But hey, look, that's a decent size. That'll serve a few people, that. So it's not been the best season, has it? But you know, stuff like this, it still puts a smile on my face. And I'm by no means an amazing grower, but just being at the plot at the moment, I mean, look at this beautiful sky. There are some really nice moments, and even being out when it's absolutely horrible, tipping down with rain, I feel like I'm becoming aquatic. Like literally every day this week I've been up after work in the pouring rain, and yeah, it's just, there's something about it that's quite nice in a way. It makes you feel alive, you know, having a reason to be outside in storms. It's just quite exhilarating. But I'm going to carry on with digging over some of this greenhouse space. Thank you ever so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed, and hopefully I'll see you again next time.